First, introducing the sophomore class president, Olivia Monroe and Alex Perreno. Vice President Jenny Miliaccio, escorted by Tom Pingree. Treasurer Jensina Mona, escorted by Zach Graham. Class Secretary Jen Killian, escorted by Danny Gott. Gabby D'Agostino, escorted by Sean Mannion. Vanessa Jaworski is escorted by Cole Martins. Molly Swanton is escorted by Patrick Slack. Emily Mawson is escorted by Jack Denley. Kaylee Dalton is escorted by Scott Johnson. Tegan Newhall is escorted by Bobby Webster. Johanna Casson is escorted by Cam Pride. Jaqueen Carmona is escorted by Jake Rosenthal. Kelly Geyer is escorted by Jeremy McFadden. Kayla Gotchakowski is escorted by Curtis Putnam. Molly McIver is escorted by Joe Kelly. Kelsey Howard is escorted by Neil Murphy. Nicole Chabra is escorted by Matt Prescott. Stephanie Palmasano is escorted by Jared Warren. Maddie Credo is escorted by Zach Curtin. Morgan Richards is escorted by Ben Nelk. Gracie Conti is escorted by C.J. Ingraham. Mary Esposito is escorted by Cam McClung. Sally Barrett is escorted by Kyle Nelson. Rachel Jean is escorted by Connor O'Grady. Michaela Boucher is escorted by Kevin Morrissey. Emily Haley is escorted by Nick Bobio. Abby Muse is escorted by Max Lebrecht. Isabel Block is escorted by Matt Gott. Jeff Lundquist is, Kelly Rhinelander is escorted by Jeff Lundquist. Sorry. Rachel Hamilton is escorted by Trevor Brown. Kiara Kent is escorted by Matteo Giacomi. Crystal Knight is escorted by Brendan Donnelly. Hannah Janelle is escorted by Alex Quinn. Bryn Bowden is escorted by Nick DiPasquale. Katie McIver is escorted by Cooper Martins. Kyla Campbell is escorted by Robert Long. Chelsea Burke is escorted by Liam Lyden. Haley Murphy is escorted by Todd Stewart. Jen Nutter is escorted by Teddy Kosachusik. Mary Beth LaPlaca is escorted by Alex Bauman. Stacy Delacroce is escorted by Robert Demento. Katie DeMeo is escorted by Jacob Myers. Nicole Lacasse is escorted by Kyle Drillis. Bridget Edwards is escorted by Ben Prescott. Michaela Diamato is escorted by Anthony Federico. Lizzie Wood is escorted by Sean Ryan. Christina Rindo is escorted by Nico Edwards. Nora Kavanaugh is escorted by Christian Giswalding. Hannah Ouellette is escorted by Kane Johansson. Star Coelho is escorted by Tom Zargai. Paola Ramos is escorted by Chandler Shores. Monica Tess is escorted by Max Mogavero. Siobhan O'Neill is escorted by Aria Monkevich. Justine Malaberti is escorted by Charles Martin. Cassandra Conti is escorted by Jonathan Malaberti. Mackenzie Snyder is escorted by John Moner. Catherine McGann is escorted by Robert Jaginta. Amanda Saffer is escorted by Ryan Frost. Rory Donahue is escorted by Jeff Cole. Andrea Pantano is escorted by Ryan Sherman. Jamie Block escorted by Mike Gaudu. Nicole Pintoni is escorted by David Ingraham.
David.
Katie Swanton escorted by Chris Chiklakis. Yulika Espinal escorted by Brandon Willis. Cassidy Troy is escorted by Michael Gotchakowski. Kylie Troy is escorted by Griffin Lyon. Hannah White is escorted by Jaden Mandola. Jillian McDonald is escorted by Matt Robson. Dakota Collins is escorted by Randy Olabolo. Catherine Gibb is escorted by Nick Boyd. Shannon O'Brien is escorted by Ryan Slack. Marissa Aguirre is escorted by Pete Bovio. Kitty Trigilio, scored by Ricky Sasha. Danny Sasha, scored by Dante DeSantis. Caitlin Murphy, scored by Colby Ibrahim. Tracy Long, scored by Duncan Huff. Catherine Fitzgerald is scored by Kyle McGrory. Katie Turbin is scored by Connor Reeves. Kaylee Crocker is scored by Jake Irons. Samantha Johnson is scored by Michael O'Leary. Kayla Durkee is scored by Kevin Turbin. Christina Giovino is scored by Luke Bugler. Devin Cutmore is scored by Bradford Newton. Danielle Cutmore is scored by Joey Torgerson. Ashley Holman is scored by Andrew Moker. Nicole Hogan is scored by Richie Gray. Haley Lacasse is scored by Michael Downing. Emma Weiner is scored by Tyler Boreski. Rebecca Salerno is scored by Gus Savage. Maggie Nelk is escorted by Andrew Frazier. Haley Bonilla is escorted by Cara Baumanson. Megan O'Grady is escorted by Nick Correnti. Emily Frazier is escorted by Shane O'Neill. Maya Spence is escorted by David Cassidy. Shauna Lyden is escorted by Jojo Mangano. Kelsey Graham is escorted by Adam Ryan. Aaron King is escorted by Jovan Geronimo. Samantha and Zach. This is scored by Keegan Ricker. Adara Vasquez is escorted by CJ Cooper. Stephanie Maglio is escorted by Michael Perret. Darian Radzikowski is escorted by Nathaniel Molnar. Isabel Lowe is escorted by Paul Novak. Megan Michaud is escorted by Frank DeVoe. Cara Donnelly is escorted by Ryan Christopher. Sarah Quinn is escorted by Johnny Bolillo. Marlon Janelle is escorted by Nick Moore. Lauracia Adorno is escorted by Ben Haley. Angel Coelho is scored by Sam Banks. Karen Riley is escorted by Sean Bond. Austin Spencer is escorted by Angela Petrikakis. Okay, that was the last one, folks. Thank you very much.